Hello and welcome to Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens. Have you ever realized or thought maybe I'm not pulling my whole self into this change or this transition that I'm expecting these phenomenal results to come from? Have you ever thought about that? I woke up yesterday morning and I heard within myself, you're not leaning fully into the expected change. And I was like, whoa, this is deep. What? And if we don't lean fully into the change, how can we ever get out of it everything and more? Because if we put our whole self in it, we will get more out of it than what we anticipated. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens. I am your host, and I come every Thursday morning to bring some encouragement, to bring some insight, to shine a spotlight on some of the areas where we as leaders need to focus. And whether you're leading yourself, a team, a whole organization, um, a body of students, we need to focus on those areas that sometimes we lose sight on or we allow to just start to dwindle and be less than our best because we have a lot on our plate. However, we're still responsible for the whole. Does anybody say yes to that? I'm still responsible for the whole. However, sometimes this piece and that piece might go a little unattended. And so today I wanted to talk about trusting the expected outcome of the change. That's trust it. And how do I trust it? By really giving it my best. So how do I do that? So before we talk about how do I do it, let me tell you about how we're not doing it and what does it sound like when we're not fully invested in the transition where we're expecting these phenomenal results, but we're not fully invested in it. So one of the ways it sounds like is, okay, well, I hear you guys. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. What will happen is what you allow to happen. What will happen is what will invest you are invested in, right? It also may sound like um, I'm not too sure about this, but if you guys believe in it, then go ahead and try it, and we'll see what happens. Or it may sound like, all right, we'll just allocate this extra amount of money, but that's all we're going to invest in this change. Another reason why you know you're not leaning into it or how it looks and feels when so that people know that you're not fully entrusting the expected change. Well, we need these resources, these individuals on this project because they have expertise that we need and we know they can help it take across the finish line with a win. But I'm not willing to give them up. I want them over here doing this on this work. And so you guys go here and you take these folks and you guys can figure it out. All of those lead to us communicating and giving signals, giving messaging, not even signals. It's not even something that somebody has to interpret. It's a clear indication that I'm not fully invested in the transition that I say I want, but I'm not fully invested in it. And why? Because sometimes we remember it didn't go well the last time. So, what's going to make it different this time? And if we are not willing to make the and proper investment, the give it the right resources, the right funding, if you're not give it your right attention. So you could have the right resources, the right funding, but it requires your attention. And what level of attention? You say, Yvette, I'm already stretched. I already have all of these things on my plate. And now you want me to participate in this change. I want you to be aware of what's happening in this space, this change you want to come to fruition, so that you can give folks the freedom to be creative, to have the ingenuity, the authority they need, but still make sure that you're steering and guiding as they go along. Because it may not have gone right last time, because perhaps we were not as involved as we needed to be. Perhaps we were not communicating as often and as frequently and as clearly as we need to help people understand this is where I want to go. This is what success looks like. That's one of the key questions I ask when I'm working with a new client or where I'm working with a new people or teams. What does success look like? We need you to at least define success from the jump off part. And I say that because as you gain more knowledge based on the work that the team does or the individuals around you that you're participating in this change, as they have more discovery, it helps you to make a more informed decision, right? So then success may um, you're going to define it a little bit different. You're going to alter your um, this definition of success at that point. Yeah. And so when you can define what success looks like and then make sure you're staying in tune enough with people, now I'm fully trusting and I'm showing that I trust the change and the expected outcome because I'm actively participating throughout. I don't just communicate on the onset. Here's what I want to see done. Here's some of the how. I really caution you not to give them too much of the how because they can be creative if you don't block them in and restrict them with your how. But give them the freedom to say, this is how I think we should do. But in your findings, if you find something else, let me know. And I'm open to considering those things. We have to give the teams freedom, but we also must let them know that you're fully invested in what you've asked of them. And if you're an individual and you have a change, you're going after a change for yourself, you have to be fully invested in that change, that you're showing up for it every day. Are you making the decisions that you need to make? Or are you, as I talked about last week, still more available to the old than you are to the new? Are you more available to the things of the old than you are to the new? And again, I'm not advocating that you drop the ball, but I am saying that you should be so comfortable in the old, in the familiar, that it can almost go on automatic pilot. And you can now really focus your attention on the new things you should handle, the new way, the things that you need that will stretch you and prepare you and position you to be successful in this new space. That's what showing up and trusting the change. Do you believe enough in what you are architecting? And do you believe enough in what you've asked people to do? Do you believe enough in what you've asked people to alter, to be creative in, to collaborate in. So much so that they are willing and they know that you're there along with them and that you are fully invested. I know I've used that word invested a lot, but it is an investment. And people can sense when you're invested and when you're not. So when I had to really check myself when I heard you're not trusting the expected outcome. And again, I had to be honest with myself and say it's because I've thought I was doing all the right things before. I thought I'm trusting and leaning and depending on all the right people and all the right sources. I thought my heart was in the right place. I thought my head was in the right place, and it just didn't pan out. That doesn't mean you don't try it again. That doesn't mean you don't put more of yourself in it again, because there is a timing, a time element. And this could be the very time that it is the right time. And nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted, because the times that are causing you to be hesitant, those times that it didn't quite pan out like you wanted it to, um, you've learned from those. Let's call them dry runs. You've learned from those dry runs. And now you're able to actually make the transition. You're actually able to see the outcomes that you expect to see. What better what better risk is that? We all take risk. We all have to take risk. But a risk that I'm not fully participating in is far more great of a risk than it has to be. So, one, I encourage you to define what success looks like on the onset and communicate that often and as clearly as possible to those who you've given authority and the free reign to help you bring this change about. Two, check in often. Three, be willing to do what it takes to make it happen. Because where there's a will, there is a way. So, how creative are you in this space? How um, how collaborative are you in this space? Because nobody knows what you know as a leader except for you. If you don't participate in it, if you don't sit and in meetings and hear how the thought processes are going, or at least check in and have time when they can share how they're thinking about something and what they're thinking and how they're going about it, where you can say, wait a minute, but will this? And you can ask questions. So, one other thing is, are you active enough that you can ask questions that will help all of you lead and steer to a greater outcome? Because we have not, because we ask not. And that means not just getting something, but it means I don't get the greater outcome because I'm not participating enough to ask the critical questions. The critical questions as they're building, as they're creating, as they're orchestrating, as they're architecting. I'm not there enough. I'm not participating enough. And change leadership is not the same as run of the business leadership. Not. You have to be willing to put yourself in a different mindset, a different pace of activity. You have to be willing to be visible and to be open. I can't be so weighted down and so busy that I can't be open to a collaborative space where we create awesome things. So I invite you to connect with me, because my purpose is to help is to teach leaders the principles of change leadership so that whatever their change is going for, whatever change you're going for, is a sustainable adoption throughout. And you're able to retain talent and you're able to create high performing teams. Why? Because people now trust you. So the next change after this change that we work together on, that this next change that you apply these change leadership principles that I'm going to teach you, that next change after that, you will have people saying to you, as I have to me, I can't wait till we get an opportunity to work together again. I can't wait until we have an opportunity to make a difference in a space together again. I enjoy working with you. You protect us. You help us. You give us the freedom to show up in our expertise as the authority in that space. You want people to join you and to create and participate in your change, your transitions the same way. Then it will be a phenomenal time for all of you. For all of you. So this is Yvette C. Owens. You can connect with me. All of my information is scrolling on the bottom. We've all been in this space where we've half-heartedly gone after a change. We've half-heartedly wanting something different in our lives, but we didn't invest our full selves. We didn't put forth absolutely our best. And I get it. Sometimes it's because it didn't work the last time. And you don't want to be either hurt or you feel like you don't have the capacity to waste time. That's why we need to connect. So the principles of change leadership work in your favor. What you don't know or what you aren't reminded of that you do know can't work for you. And sometimes we have the tools, we just don't know how they apply to making change work. There are other times we absolutely need to understand how to lead an organization through transition. And who doesn't need to do that today? Who doesn't? After all we've gone through in the last 3 years, we all need to be ready to change and to figure out what our next looks like. How many of you need to know what your next looks like, but you're a little hesitant and you're like, okay, well, we'll try this because we have no idea where we're going now? No, say, this is where we need to go. And then put your whole self in it, put your best behind it, financially, resource wise, team wise, to make it a phenomenal transition. And there is a strategic way of doing it. First and foremost, what is it that you are trying to make happen? When? And what does success look like when you get there? And the other critical question is, what is the cost of doing nothing? And when you are really solid in all of those areas, which I coach and help people through, I'm a speaker, I'm an international best-selling author, all because I believe in change leadership and the power of it transforming organizations, transforming individuals, transforming your leadership style. And I fully believe that you'll make so much traction when you believe and trust in the change and the outcome that you're expecting the change to bring results for. My name is Yvette C. Owens. I am here to help you experience that phenomenal results that you're looking for. Let's connect. Let's connect. Let's connect. Let's connect. When? Today. Have a phenomenal day.